Hey, what's going on, guys? Crow Murder 15 here with a new episode of Vlog. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode, like I always say, but at the end of this episode, there's going to be something I'm talking about that I've talked about on this channel before. Not particularly going with anything on this channel, but a subject matter that I've talked about before. But we're going to get into that a little bit later and get a little more serious. But for now, let's go ahead and start off with some Game Bros news. So right now, Game Bros is kind of at a standstill right now as far as production-wise. We've been doing some shorter games back and forth. We're really not sure what we're wanting to do as far as the next game. Plus, we're getting ready to start up after we finish, because we just finished up recording episodes up until the end of August. That's what we're up to right now. And then we've got September, which actually we've got a special episode planned for September, but it won't be till later in the month, and I'll discuss that maybe near the beginning of September, middle of September, or maybe I just might leave it a surprise for you guys. But we're also discussing what we actually want to do for our Halloween month this year. There's actually a couple of ideas I've got up in the air, but I haven't sat down and discussed with the others what we really want to do yet. So I know last year we had a couple of people vote, but this year I kind of want to leave it to the cast instead. So we're just going to do it that way. There are going to be some more guest episodes coming up soon. There's actually a couple episodes. Let me see. One's already recorded. I previously stated in the last episode of Vlog that a friend of mine by the name of West Frost that I met in VR chat was discussing wanting to do a guest episode, and we actually did. We played Portal 2. We actually had a really fun time with it. I had a blast. So that should be coming up sometime in August. Probably around maybe the middle or end of August, I want to say, is when that episode's going to air. Probably closer towards the middle. Also, as far as guests, which I'll actually get into this here in a minute, because it goes on to other news in the episode. But there are going to be some more guest episodes, probably going to be airing around September, I want to say. Either September or middle of September, we're not for sure yet. It's just something that I've got to kind of get together and everything. Everything's kind of just a jumbled mess right now, and I'm trying to take each piece and put it together. And the key part is like trying to fit those pieces together is the complicated part. But it's been going really good. We're not sure how we're going to end the year out yet. But we'll figure it out. Just whatever we feel like playing, or if there's something that you guys want to see specifically, we'll try to play it. So going from Game Bros news to con news, I finally sat down and started talking with the other castmates of Whose Line Is It Anime to start talking about what we're wanting to do this year as far as the games, the layout of the shows, and that kind of stuff, because a few complaints... Cat, get out of there. I have one of the drawers open and she's climbing on it. Come on, get! But, one of the things that we've been getting feedback about is that it seems a little too scripted for an improv show, which what we normally did was we tried to keep it as close to Whose Line Is It Anyway as possible, and a portion of that was scripted. But, you know, we do want to appease to the audience, so we are going to try to go for more improv than we have in previous years. So that's something that's come to mind. There's a couple of new games that we're wanting to test out, and just kind of go from there. Now, as far as who's going to be there this year, everybody, unfortunately, except for Jen, is going to be at Tsubasa-con. Unfortunately, she's just not going to be able to get, from what I've been told so far. I mean, things might change. She might be there. Who knows? But everybody else is going to be there. Chris, Ray, Brian, Bree, and... so hopefully we'll be able to bring something better to this year. And I know I've gone on record saying I'm sorry for last year, so I'm not going to get into that. But speaking of cast members from Whose Line Is It Anime, Chris and Ray are actually going to be coming up in a couple of weeks to hang out. Normally what we do during the summer, we have a Whose Line Is It Anime meetup here at my house. We were talking about possibly doing it at Ray's house this year. But just where everything has been going on with Mom and the house and everything, she just preferred it if it was just here again, and I completely understand. So, unfortunately, only Ray and Chris are going to be coming up because the others just have just life going on. They weren't able to get off time for work or scheduling issues, that kind of stuff. So, But while Chris and Ray are here, we're actually going to try to do some episodes of Game Bros. So I'm not sure when those are going to air or anything like that. Like I said, it's part of the giant puzzle that I've got to piece together still. So going from that to personal news, I'm going to start off with some good news and some just general news. Then I'll go into what the serious subject matter is that I discussed at the beginning of this episode. So personal news, Mom is still doing really good. She is actually taking her last antibiotic today, even though this will be going up tomorrow on Saturday. I'm recording this Friday. But yeah, today is the last day that she has to take her antibiotic through an IV. Now, what she's going to have to do after that is she's still going to have to go through physical therapy. They're going to have to come to the house sometime in the near future to see what all she's going to need here at the house in order to get around. The main goal for them right now is just to make sure that she is strong enough to walk around the house on her own. I mean, even with a walker, but still able to get up and do things on her own without any assistance as far as human contact. I mean, of course, I'll help her out if she needs up and everything like that, but basically to where it's not needed. So that way I'm not here having to do every single thing around the house, which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind it at all, but, you know, I've got stuff to do too. Speaking of, I'm actually going to be starting classes in less than a month. I'm actually going back to state on August 13th, starting my classes for my final year of college. And it's just going to be really busy. Now, classwork is going to take priority over the channel, as always, but where I don't have a job right now, it's not going to tear into it too much. So if there's any delays of like episodes of Game Bros or Convlog or anything like that, I'll do my best to let you guys know in advance, saying like, hey, this episode's going to be delayed or something's going wrong here. That kind of stuff, which normally it never has in the past, but you never know what's going to happen, so I like to keep people updated just to be on the safe side. Channel news wise, I'm still working on a couple of top 10 countdowns. I just have to get off my lazy butt and finish the scripts, and actually have to get a part from Reaper to get one of them done, because one he's guest starring on, and then the other one's just me. Actually, I have a third one that I'm working on right now, kind of, but I'm having problems coming up with the actual list itself, so that one might be on the back burner for right now, but I've definitely got 2 in the works right now. So yeah, all this good news and everything, but so now I'm going to take it to a little more serious note, and this isn't directly towards the channel or anything like that. This is about another YouTuber that I never really knew about until they were brought to my light because of a video that I just recently watched. So, for those of you who know, there is a YouTube channel called The Game Theorist. Matt Pat, all his amazing videos, along with other theorists on subject matters, taking real-life science and applying it to video games, seeing if stuff is plausible, that kind of stuff. It's really interesting stuff if you like to learn. So, unfortunately, a couple of days ago, there was a video posted by Matt Pat. His editor, Ronnie Ani Edwards, and I hope I'm saying that right, unfortunately passed away on July 4th due to suicide. Now, many of you know that this is a subject that I take very seriously and don't joke about very often. You know, there's always the occasional slip up of me joking about it, but that's just neither here nor there. But it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart and try to address whenever something like this comes up, because there's a part of the video that I watched and it didn't really click. It kind of clicked with me as something that I never really discussed whenever I brought up the subject of suicide or prevention of suicide. And that is the fact that, as far as I'm aware from this video that Matt Pat had posted, Ronnie had never had a very good relationship with his family. And I'm not sure if that's what caused him to commit suicide. I don't know the circumstances. But it never addressed to me that, you know, sometimes, and some people's families can be like this, unfortunately. Thankfully for myself, I have a family that supports me, doesn't necessarily agree with everything that I do, but, calmly talks to me about it and doesn't try to shun me out of anything that I'm doing unless they think it's going to harm me. But it got me thinking about every time I bring this subject up, I always say that there's somebody out there that you can talk to. And even though in this situation, Ronnie's family wasn't one of those set of people that he could talk to about his depression or his demons, whatever he was facing, there is still somebody always out there, whether it be friends, whether it be a counselor at a school, a hotline number that you can call to talk to somebody about your depression. There is always going to be somebody out there for you to talk to. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to understand exactly what you're going through, but they're going to try their best to, lend a helping hand, lend a helping ear to at least let you get stuff off of your chest and hopefully be able to help out. And sometimes that's not enough, and it sucks to say that. Sometimes talking isn't always the answer. Sometimes medication is needed, even though I'm somebody that's not necessarily... It's a weird double-edged sword, because on the one hand, I understand that people do need medication sometimes to cope with this kind of stuff, because sometimes it can be a chemical imbalance. Other times it can just be your demons just getting the better of you. I mean, everybody's story is different, which is why I never look at depression as a same case bias whenever somebody is trying to talk to me about it, whether it be one of my friends or family members or whatever. Everybody's case is different sometimes, or actually all the time, not just sometimes. But it's just one of those things that's unfortunate, and I hate hearing that, even though I never met anybody from, game theorist or anything like that, but I love watching the videos. And it's unfortunate to hear that depression has unfortunately claimed another victim. So if for some strange reason, MatPat or any of the game theorists, you happen to be watching this video, I send my condolences and just hope things get better for you guys. I know that time heals all wounds and stuff, but it's never easy. Speaking from somebody that, like I've said in the past episodes beforehand, somebody that's dealt with depression and suicidal tendencies, and somebody that has lost friends and family due to suicide. So down in the comments below, there's going to be some links for you guys, some 800 numbers, some websites in case you ever feel like you're depressed or you feel like there's nobody to reach out to. There's always someone that will listen to you. It may help, it may not, but at least you know there's somebody out there that is willing to listen to what's going on in your life. I'm sorry that this episode ended on such a serious note, but I just kind of wanted to bring this up because anytime the subject of suicide or depression always comes up, I always like to bring awareness of these types of things because they are serious matters. There are people out there that just kind of push it to the side to where they think it's like, oh, these people are just, reaching out for attention. All these people care about themselves. And unfortunately, there is a very small percentage of people that do that kind of stuff, that cry out of suicidal actions or tendencies because they just want attention. It does happen sometimes, and it does suck, making it even more difficult to differentiate the ones that are just doing it for attention to the ones that really do need the help. And that's why I take it upon myself, if anybody says they're depressed or anything like that, even if they are just looking for attention, I'll still listen to them because I don't take stuff like this lightly. But just remember, there is always somebody out there for you to talk to, and there is always somebody that will listen, whether it's family. Unfortunately, in Ronnie's case, it wasn't. Friends, somebody on an 800 number, just whoever. And I just hope the best for anybody that's going through depression, suicidal thoughts, or any of that matter. Well, guys, like I said, I'm sorry to end on such a serious note, but I've got to go ahead and hop off here and take care of a few things around the house, and hopefully the next episode will be a little bit lighter. I hate being serious sometimes, but sometimes you got to be serious. There's a time to be silly and funny, and then there's a time you gotta grow up and be serious about certain things. So, and this was one of those cases, I felt like. But also in the next episode, I'm probably going to try to get Chris and Ray on an episode, because the weekend that they'll be coming in will also be a weekend for a new episode of Convlog. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to hop off here. Like I said, links in the descriptions down below for 800 numbers, websites for anything suicidal tendencies or depression related, so you guys can get the help you need if you need it. So this is Murder 15 signing off.